Video game bang, video game bang, video game bang. Video game. Mega Brand. Live from the sack, it's the livest. In fact, I'm putting rhymes on this track to put my guys on the map. Updates, geek news, tech talk, and reviews. They can summarize it so you ain't gotta breeze through. Listen once and you're forever fans. And I'm not saying it because their theme song features Mega Ram, the ultimate source of all geek media. Other podcasts, they just don't match up. Need proof? You can check the archives and catch up. Stats off the chain, we have rearranged the game. It'll never be the same. Now it's time to feel the
bang. What is up, my pizzas? Cory Vincent here. Video Game Bang is back. And sorry for scaring everybody in the chat. Because the DMCA decided that they all of a sudden cared about Twitch and started cracking down on music you can play, we have to be really choosy on what we pick. So I picked this really nondescript lo-fi station, and it's nice and chill, and everyone was vibing. And then Mega Rand came in and was like, boom! Video Game Bang, bitch. And so that's what happened. I apologize. If you want to watch us live, you can on twitch.tv/videogame_bang, where you can see my pretty face every week. Now with COVID going around, we're on the webcams. Joining us, we have esteemed guest, social media guy. This is what he gets paid in appearances on the show, actually. So I'm sorry you had to put up with him this week, but it's in his contract. He runs social media, and now he's on the show. Jake, Ego Brain in Discord. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. Usually my appearances only come in Christmas, but he asked me to do him a favor, so here I am.
Thanks for showing up, man. We really needed you. Your opinion, it needs to be out in the world. So I'm glad you could.
Oh, it doesn't.
You can help us with that.
Don't need another middle-aged white guy's opinion.
You did not know Spyro came out 2 years ago. All right,
yeah, and the pre-show.
Hey, that was all pre-show. All right, that was supposed to be.
That's private, Emma. You know that's all off limits. Anything we talk about in the pre-show.
Not cool, dude. Not cool.
Jake, the funniest thing I think that happened to you was you had a mishap, man. You're trying to do the right thing. You're trying to wear your mask. You want to do it in style. I know that one of our favorite bands growing up was The Offspring, so you went to their official website and ordered one of their COVID-19 masks, and it was the most pitiful piece of trash thing I've ever seen compared to what was on that picture. What the hell happened?
It was sad. I don't know what happened. Basically, all it was just a piece of fabric cut out, and that was it. It had no trimming, no, what do you call it, where they do the stitching around the side. It had nothing. All it was, they took the fabric, they cut it, and that was it. Here you go. $23 for that. Shipping and handling, $23 for a piece of fabric that I could have cut myself.
And then it gets even scummier because he sent the pictures to me, and I tweeted them, and I was like, what's up, Offspring? Like, you think Smash Mouth would let this happen? And they responded to me and said, give us your DM. And then I messaged them back and forth. They took all my information, and I never heard from them again. So I'm probably going to get hacked by The Offspring or something. They now have my address. they have everything. That's unfortunate. You hate to see
saw them they came to Fresno, too. I saw them at the big Fresno Fair.
Well, it was
a great show.
That's what happens with these rock bands, man. They're cool and edgy at one point, and then they turn into boomers, and they start scamming kids. So there's your favorite band for you. Also joining us back on the show, Lexie. How's life?
It's life, quarantine,
We do know.
Living that quarantine life.
Living that quarantine life. Trying to do the best I can. Wanting to get out and scream, basically. But, dealing with what I can. Dealing with the hand that I have.
I know you do a lot of social media, PR marketing. Were you affected by the great hacks today that happened?
No, luckily. But I will say that there are some social platforms that people are using that were hacked as well. And I don't know if a lot of people know that. So we were affected in that way. Just making sure we're going to keep posting organically.
Why are you being so ominous about this? Name names. Buzz people out. You're acting like... What happened?
Well, I don't want to say the platform, but there's different social media listening platforms that were also hacked.
Okay.
And I don't know if everyone knows because the platforms themselves send out like an email. And I know the one that we use, they were hacked, kind of,
Wow.
because of the situation that's going on. And so we're just keeping our eyes peeled and making sure that we're posting organically for now.
So what happened
So,
today
yeah.
was there was a mass hackening. The hackening happened today, and I don't know who this team was, single person, but they ended up hacking Apple, Uber, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Obama, Joe Biden, like everybody you could imagine who's like in the news besides the president. I don't think the president got hacked.
It was anonymous. They hacked him.
Well, whatever happened was no, I don't think it was anonymous because usually anonymous has like some good thing they're trying to do. Basically, when they hacked everybody, what they did is they said, "We love Bitcoin. We want to support it. So donate Bitcoin to this link, and we will give you double in return." And of course, because it's the internet and a sucker's born every second, like they ended up making $75,000 off this stunt. In just hijacking these accounts.
Wow.
It was the same message across all these different social medias. They all roughly said, Bitcoin's the future, donate to this link and we'll pay you back double. And of course people fell for it.
I hope it's like some 13-year-old kid.
Does that make it any better?
It would just be very exciting if it was. Like everybody's like, look at this badass hacker. And it's like some fucking tween trying to show his friends. He's like, hey, guys, look what I can do.
Well, it got only worse because whatever they did, the speculation, it seemed like a lot of people who did get hacked were day one accounts. Like these were accounts that launched the day Twitter launched. And so they thought maybe there was some exploit that they found through that. And the other thing that was a little suspicious is that when Twitter maybe was trying to fix it, a glitch or bug happened where all verified accounts couldn't make posts. So like at 3 o'clock
I
today,
saw that.
Yeah. So it's all connected. We are all one. And then
the fuck do you mean we? None of us are verified.
I mean,
we are not a blue checkmark crowd here.
You guys aren't verified? I thought you guys were verified. Huh. Must just be me then. Anyways.
Oh my god.
Emmaskies back. You were off for a week. Have you stopped watching Hamilton since it came out?
Don't worry about it. It's none of your
I asked
goddamn
him
business.
this
It's a very
too.
personal question, okay? I don't appreciate this interrogation.
This is a safe place, Emma. If you need help, if you're addicted, you can seek help. It's not too late.
This is my thing. I want her to beat the world record. That's my thing.
I mean, you know, somebody in the world has had it running like on a loop since it launched.
Really? You think someone out there's doing that?
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
100%.
If that
Have
person
you
is
seen the
you,
teenage girls that are obsessed with this?
if that person is you and you're listening to this, please tweet us and let us know it was you. We could verify this for you. Seriously though, should I watch this? I'm getting the itch. I
don't know what you want me to say. What do you think I'm gonna say to that? Like, no, you shouldn't. It's fine. Because of course you should fucking watch it.
Can it be that good though? Maybe it's so built up that now it can never live up to the expectation.
No, it's great. You should watch it.
So I think the album or the soundtrack climbed back up the charts. First of all, it's never left for like 275 weeks or something.
Yeah.
It's been on the charts.
Insane.
And it climbed back to 2 after the Disney Plus stuff.
Hell yeah.
It's
good.
I can't see it. I just can't see it. How is that better than Eminem's hottest album, you know?
It just is, you know.
I guess. What else do we have? Oh, and then this is just kind of like pre-news stuff, just stuff we heard about. We don't know if it's true, might not be. Did you guys hear about AOC playing League of Legends?
What do you mean you don't know if it's true? She literally tweeted.
I mean, hey,
We knew about
there's
this.
the hackening. The
We also-
hackening.
That tweet is from yesterday. We also have talked about her playing League before.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know, not everyone knew that, and it sparked a lot of articles and talk in the community. A lot of love for AOC. She put out a tweet yesterday, I believe, saying, like, if there's anything good about quarantine, at least I hit Silver 2 in League of Legends.
Silver 3, I believe.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Is there a big difference between that?
I have no idea. I
Lexi's
don't know
our
what it
expert,
means.
so we need.
I mean, it's just you're still in silver, but you know,
Whoa.
one step closer to gold.
So
There you
are you
go.
not impressed with her stats?
I could have sworn the first time she announced it, she was like silver 4.
So you think she's degrading her quality of play.
No, I think that she's just getting freaking trolls like everyone is in this game and in her games, and she's just not making the progress that she could make.
Is she higher ranked than you?
Because
Yes or no?
yes.
Wait, you were just talking down to her.
Damn.
No, I'm not talking down. I'm saying that I think that she could be gold right now.
You think
But
she has the
I
potential?
think because of troll. Yes, because I think when we first talked about this, she was like silver 4 or something, and I'm silver 4. So
someone ended up replying to the tweet saying like, now we know, she deals with constant harassment on social media. And then it's good to know that in her downtime, she joins League of Legends, where the community is infinitely probably more toxic. And
yeah, 100%.
It was a cool little moment, though. Respect to AOC representing, League of Legends out there, representing esports.
Tell you what, she's probably the highest ranked politician in that game.
Wasn't there another person that was higher than her? I swear, somebody tweeted them and was like,
it was Mitch McConnell.
Wow.
Yeah, he was
it was not. It was some
Mitch McConnell.
It was a state representative from California.
You sure it wasn't Mitch McConnell?
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, my dad's a 60-year-old and he still plays GTA Online, so he's like a 300 plus ranked on that.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in the world. Another bit of good news for the Halo fans out there. The Halo 3 has just been ported over to the Master Chief Collection on the PC, which is very, very exciting.
Wow.
Ego Brain, you were a big Halo fan back in the day. Now it's out on the PC. You've become a PC gamer. What are you thinking? Are you picking this up?
Definitely. I mean, ever since I built my PC, that's all I've been doing is PC gaming. My son wanted to play the PS4, and I set it up for him, and I played a little GTA on there, and I can't go back. The graphics they're so horrible. I can actually see the frames change.
Yeah.
It's awful. So I can't wait to play this on PC with my 2070 Super graphics card.
Oh, wow.
And,
okay. Nice flex. Okay. We didn't
144 refresh rate.
Nobody
Yep.
asked for all that. Not one person asked for all that.
You want me to show it to you? I can show it to you real quick.
Oh, my God. He actually is doing it. This is why you got to watch live.
Let's say this is a great segment for the audio
Yeah.
podcast.
Yep. Good job, Jake. It says
Hello,
GeForce RTX. Thumbs up, buddy. Emmaskies. So this is truly crossplay now, right? So people on the PC could play against people on or play with people on console if that's what they choose. Are you going to be revisiting Halo 3 because of all this?
When's the last time I played it? I think I just played it recently, so probably not.
Are you?
Oh, wait, it's on the PC. Why would I care?
Well, it's crossplay, so you could play with people on the PC now. Opens your
I don't
world
think I
up.
know anybody that? Nah.
What about maybe me and you can play around?
Well, now I'm definitely not playing Halo 3.
You're not helping. You're pushing her away from it now.
I'm not used to approaching people for stuff. Usually people come to me for everything, so it's really weird. But I think what?
All right, I'll play Halo with you. It'll be just like old times.
You know what? I am down because
we'll get our clan going again.
I found the Zune that I stole from you again recently, and I've actually been jamming out to this thing, to the original soundtrack, and I actually found a community of people called it's a Reddit channel called R Zune, and it actually says in the description a diehard group of Zune enthusiasts, and it's got like 4,000 members. Wow. And they are active. Every day there's new threads in there on cool things you can do with it, different ways to hack, issues they're running into. They're speculating on like coming up with a new like freeware version that you can hack this thing with, and you can share like social. Like the Zune people are out there and they are starving for revolution. So I been plugging away with this. I did load up Halo 2 to get ready for it. The full remake thing on PC, and they did such an incredible job porting the game. Like the shooting is smooth. Playing it, it's like playing it for the first time again if you haven't. If you only played it
Oh.
on console and you want to like, flex a little bit of your new mouse and keyboard skills, it does really enhance the
Yeah,
experience.
I was gonna say it's a whole different experience because you're playing with mouse and keyboard now instead of controller.
Do you
So does it translate well?
perfectly? I think it translates incredibly well. I feel way more strategic when I'm like going around, and maybe it's just my experience with Overwatch or something. Maybe I'm reading too far in, but I was like crouch jumping onto places that I didn't know I was supposed to be, just so I could like cheese my way through, because you got to play legendary every time. There's no other way to play that game. So what about you, Lexie? What, are you gonna jump on and play some Halo again?
I mean, I haven't played Halo since like it's been years, so I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
I don't know if your laptop's gonna be able to hang.
Yeah, there's that. But yeah, I haven't played Halo in forever.
So we can get to more of the standard news, the traditional news, as we call it. We talked about it a little bit at the end of last week. Ubisoft Forward was coming around. If you guys are missing all your E3 action, we've had PlayStation. Devolver Digital had one this week. Google Stadia did one, I believe, today that nobody was talking
They
about.
did? I didn't even know that was the thing that was happening.
You know what? I was on stream on Twitter, and I found a tweet from the official Google Stadia account that says, we're having a surprise stage show, Stadia Online, tomorrow. And I scrolled down to the first comment, and it was, who cares? All caps. And I was like, you win the internet, dude. Rando on Twitter. He does, because nobody cared.
Nobody cares, but yeah.
He nailed it. But Ubisoft was pretty dope. I'm not going to lie. I think I prefer Ubisoft Forward to what I saw at the PlayStation one. What do you think, Emma?
Well, I was only focused, like I was hyper focused on this. I knew what I wanted to see going into it, and like I didn't care about anything else. So I like tuned everything else out. So I didn't really care about the mobile stuff they were talking about, or I don't even know what the fuck else they talked about.
Yeah.
Brawlhalla, I didn't care about that. Although, again, they had quite a few mobile announcements, which was interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got to. They had a lot of time to fill, right? Did any, like, what about Brawlhalla? Were you interested whatsoever, though? Like, it looked cute, right?
No. Brawlhalla's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Brawlhalla's not new.
Yeah, but there's new characters and stuff. Like, it
I don't care.
looked appealing.
Yeah. So I was just hyper focused on what I wanted going in. I knew that I wanted to see Watchdogs Legion. I wanted to see Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And I wanted to see the Far Cry 6 reveal that got leaked, which, oh my God, I'm so sick. So I get that, I'm going to go on a tangent for a second here. I get that, like, when you're a reporter, especially like in this industry, you know, things get leaked and that's what you report on. That's what you do. But like, why? If you find something that you know you weren't supposed to find, why report on it? You know how much more impactful it would have been if I didn't know that Far Cry announcement was coming out? Like, who was it for?
The thing is,
like, wait, you're just taking that moment away from the developers so that you can have the clicks the day before.
Yep.
Like,
Emma,
bitch.
Emma, you're such a boomer. You just said clicks.
I mean, that's what they want. They literally, whatever.
That's what it's all about.
It's all about
the clicks.
It's all about the clicks. All these guys want is your clicks.
That's all they want. Like, they want the website traffic, and so they're gonna take this moment that these developers have been waiting years for and rip it out from underneath them the day before. For what? Like, why? Why?
You want to know why?
You just said it. The clicks.
I know why. It's for the traffic.
It's
Like,
for the
to
clicks,
be a
baby.
bitch.
No, it's also
So-
on the real. It's not
But
just
not-
the clicks though. It's the clout. The
Yeah.
two C's
Yeah.
of the internet, clicks and clout. Because
Yeah.
the thing is, if you get word of that story, if you're the guy who discovered it or whoever, and you know other people are probably going to discover it as well, the one who gets on top of the ladder quickest and screams it is going to be the one that gets the clicks or the clout. And then if you are the one news outlet who survives on those clicks, and that's how you keep your employees fed, is with those clicks, you can't just take the integrity of the game. It's leaked. I got to get it out first so that I got clicks to pay, you know? So
I get all that on like a rational level. I understand why they do it. It's just shitty. Like
it is.
Why just like on a human
Yeah.
level, like you have to know that you're being an asshole just to be an asshole, and it sucks.
Yeah.
So we all knew, but like they closed the show with it. And can you fucking imagine if we didn't know that was coming, the reaction it would have gotten when that Far Cry logo comes up and nobody had any idea there was even a new game coming?
Yeah.
It was unfortunate.
Yeah. I was pretty excited to see.
Let's start at the end then.
After the fact.
Let's start at the Far Cry because we just got cinematic. But I shouldn't say just got cinematic because it was a hell of a cinematic.
It was a hell of a cinematic, and we also got a release date.
Yeah.
We got, like, if we hadn't had the leak, we would have found out about this game, and 5 seconds later, they would have been like, it's out in 8 months.
That's true. That
Like,
kind of got buried. I feel like that did get buried.
The game comes out in on February 18th, I believe. I'm gonna mess up his last name. I've forgotten his last name. The guy that plays
Giancarlo
Gustavo,
Esposito.
Esposito, thank you.
Yeah.
Is the villain in this game, and that's kind of what Far Cry is known for. They're absolutely astounding villains. So you're more interested in who's going to be the villain in this game than who's going to be the main
But
character.
let me just note that 2 of the villains in the past have been both from the Breaking Bad Better Call Saul series. So Gus Fring, and then the guy from Better Call Saul was in, I think, Far Cry
3, right?
3.
The guy with the crazy eyes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was Voss in Better Call Saul? Well, I've never seen Better Call Saul, so.
Yeah, he's in there.
Oh yeah,
He's
Voss.
a
That was his
villain. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're
that
absolutely right, and it was well acted. Here's the thing, like gameplay wise, a little weird is because the 2 main characters in it are Giancarlo Esposito's character, and he's like a dictator or ruler of this little area, and there's like a seemingly innocent child, looks like it was adopted or he was adopted or whatever, and then they go through this really awesome scene where it's very clear that there's 2 paths you can kind of go. It ends. So are you playing this major game as a 13-year-old?
That nobody knows. We have no idea.
That's like huge. I'd actually be disappointed if you have to play as a young person.
Why?
Why?
I don't know. I just knowing the Far Cry and like how it's about guns and explosions and all sorts of actiony stuff. Being like a 13-year-old who's gonna, wipe through an entire militia at times just seems weird to me.
Of all the video games that you play, that's what seems unbelievable.
Yeah, like that a young person.
We just talked about Halo,
But this is
and
the thing.
that's what seems unbelievable.
How do you know that's gonna be kid? It could be him, and you're playing through his phases, like growing up. Like, so would you still play it if it was like that, like Assassin's Creed kind of?
No, if like it's after that scene, it's like 5 years later when he's actually a man. Then it'd be cool.
So when he's 18, that's okay, but when he's 13, not so much.
Yeah, 18, you're strong, you're spry. You can make decisions.
Oh my god.
The 13-year-old
be a Debbie Downer, but I mean, I think most foreign wars are fought with kids. Unfortunately.
Wow, you're getting way
Like
too
with the
deep.
cartels.
You're way too deep, Jake. Way too deep. Let's dial it back.
That's all I'm saying.
This ain't
It's
Blood
more
Diamonds, man.
realistic.
This is come on, bro.
I don't know, but anyway, we're just gonna move on from.
You guys don't
that
remember? You don't remember the Comey? What was that Comey guy?
All I'm saying is that every 13-year-old I've ever known is dopey. I mean, that's it. They're awkward and dopey, and I don't see them being an amazing action hero in Far Cry 6.
So Cory's an ageist and is not going to play Far Cry if it's a 13-year-old.
Show me a 13-year-old that's done anything relevant.
Show me an 8-foot tall space marine. Are you not going to play Halo?
That's why I play Halo, because
exactly.
it's feasible.
It's called suspension of disbelief. It's the whole fucking point of these video games.
No, it's feasible that John Spartan, whatever, could get in that suit and wreck a bunch of aliens.
How old was Anakin in Star Wars?
Yeah, see, that's why no one loved that movie. That's exactly why everyone hates that movie.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly why.
We're also all talking on the fact that none of us have any idea what this game is going to be. So it might not even be about that kid. It might
true.
be about somebody completely separate. So this is all.
I don't see it
anyway.
as a problem for me.
We're in the weeds here.
It's just another character.
I'm excited about the game, though. No lie. I think this is definitely on the buy list. They also went over Hyperscape, a game we talked about a few weeks ago.
Another leak, because they put a big announcement at the end of it that said it's available to play right now, and it was supposed to be huge and exciting, but everybody already knew because fucking everything about this got leaked. The entire Ubisoft press conference got leaked.
Hyperscape, though, like they actually released a beta and stuff, and were paying like big streamers to play it, so they wanted people to know the game was out there.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be like a big announcement at the stream, like on that press conference. But like 2 days before, they were like, "Hey, FYI, they're gonna launch it at the press conference."
That's because in this one, Hyperscape, there's not one. Nobody at Ubisoft is telling themselves that Hyperscape's going to be the next Uncharted or something like that. That's going to be the next solo big title game that they have. So that stage show is probably an inconvenience for them. That was just an extra video that the video guy had to make because they're going all into the stream esports zone. So everybody in that world already knows this game. They've already played the game because they're already trying to market to those guys so hard. So that's
what we all needed, another battle royale esports game
from Ubisoft. That's what everyone.
Nobody asked for this.
They did a good job though, kind of explaining and giving some personality to the game that I'll say we didn't have before. You know, again, that's coming from the crowd who doesn't give a shit about the storyline or the personality of the game, but for all the regular people, you get that.
I know there was one of the character designers was talking about like, you know, we design all these costumes and we design their tattoos and we're like, do we think that this character would actually have a tattoo like this? I'm like, nobody fucking cares. It's a battle royale game. They don't have a personality. That's the whole point.
Shh. They didn't tell them that.
Are really doing the
AKA
most here.
Fortnite.
They didn't tell them that part, Emma. Let them believe.
Nobody's playing this for your character design. I'm sorry.
Well, I think what they're really trying to bank on too with that is that they're going to try and do the living world Fortnite model where things change but it's going to be more character focused because in Fortnite, you know, Tomato Head guy, to my knowledge, doesn't do anything special. But in this one, it's like, all right, it's Apex, but what if we actually gave attention to the story and made the world evolve in different ways? So, maybe they'll find that balance that Apex couldn't find because as we talked in the past, Apex was really slow to put out updates and it was for good purpose of not like overworking their people. But I don't know if Ubisoft really cares that much. So see what they do. Watchdog Legions. What do you think of that one, Emma?
I am so excited for this game. I've been excited since they announced it, and which is pretty much the same thing I've been saying from the beginning. If this game does everything they say it does, it's going to be so fucking cool. Like, if it's such an ambitious idea that when you hear it, your first thought is, that's not going to work like that. Like, that's just not how that's going to work. I'm very excited if it does.
In what way?
So the idea behind Watchdogs Legion is that anybody can be a part of DedSec. Anybody. Like, literally anybody. So when you're just walking down the street, you can scan or hack whoever, like, just some random NPC walking down the street. It shows you their name, some traits about them, kind of some interesting facts. And then you can just decide, I want to recruit them. And then you're playing as that NPC and you go through as them. And then you collect more and more and more people to the point where like you have certain people that are really good at stealth or certain people that are really good at combat or are really good with technology. And when you get to these missions, you have a whole roster of people to choose from. So you get to a mission, it kind of tells you what you're doing, and then you go and look, all right, who is really good with drones? This would be great for a drone mission. Or who would be really great at getting in unnoticed and blending in and finding that person. Like you can when they keep throwing out there is like there's always little old ladies. And you can recruit this little old lady into this hacker organization and start playing as her and go through all these missions as her. If that's how the game works and you can truly just look at anybody on the street and add them, that's super fucking cool.
I guess.
How's that believable though?
Here's
like, recruiting a little old lady. Like that's like taking an old lady on the street right now and saying, "Hey, you want to make an app for me?" Like I don't know. Like, that doesn't seem
it's called
believable
suspension of disbelief. It's the whole point playing a video game.
See, exactly.
Yeah,
You're not gonna see me
we're
hacking
going
no. I'm not hacking no 13-year-olds in this game. I'm only hacking adult people.
And it's the idea
fully
that when
capable.
you would have a mission where if you want nobody, you don't want to look suspicious, you need to go gather in some information, and you want to be somebody that nobody is going to suspect of anything.
You pick
Maybe a
grandma.
little old lady on your team is going to be a good idea.
Yeah.
Hey, Marjorie, you want me a quick $20?
So it looks
Got
really
some-
exciting. One of the things I have to see if this is a real thing or not, because I don't know if I dreamt this or if it's real. But I feel like in one of the earlier announcements of the game, they talked about the fact that if one of your people dies, they are dead. Like they're out of your roster, they're out of the game, they're out of everything. They didn't say anything about that in this presentation, so I need to go back and see if that's true. Because if that's true, I would they need to do that.
You want permadeath in this game?
I want permadeath.
Damn, that's.
I would
heavy.
imagine there would probably be like a couple characters that are, required for the story where if you die, it makes you go back. But like if you fail a mission and that person dies, it pops you back out and you have to try again with somebody else.
You want to feel the
Pops you
regret
back
of killing Marjorie, getting her in
Yeah,
over
or
her head.
and like having to make that choice of like, is this person going to survive this mission?
But it's up to you,
And-
right? Ultimately, it's your
Exactly.
Yeah. So you
So
you
I
like
kinda hope
you feel
that
like it
there's-
raises the stakes because you care about their little digital souls.
Yeah.
Okay, I can respect that. My fear is that it's going to do No Man's Sky type of thing where it's got such an expansive concept like that. Everybody in the world is hackable, but that stuff gets old real quick if they make like the hacking interface and like if they make the game annoying, or if they do something like there's only 3 different classes really, and they all just
Yeah.
kind of fit into those 3. And then you pick the old lady and she's got aspects of like the brawler. Like that'll be kind of disappointing. So I hope there's like at least 30 or so different archetypes of characters. So, it feels like people's skill sets are not just narrowed down to 4: support, tank, DPS.
Yeah.
And then
So that's what I'm saying. Like if this game does everything it says it's going to do, that's going to be amazing.
yeah, it's worth a shot. Like I love when a game will do something creative like this, where at least it's got something that makes it different from the other games. And then the other one they talked about was Assassin's Creed, which I saw you had some strong feelings about. Assassin's Creed. I actually thought this was the thing that got me the most excited. This was my biggest takeaway from the entire show. So I'm
So
kind of looking forward to this.
Valhalla looks like a really good game. This is not an Assassin's Creed game. I don't know why they slapped the Assassin's Creed IP on this game. They had a 5-minute trailer and a 30-minute gameplay. There is not one mention of the Creed. There's not one mention of the thing that's in your title. There are no assassins. And they actually go through like an assassination mission and they don't assassinate the guy. I was like, this is not... Valhalla is a really cool Viking RPG, but this is not an Assassin's Creed game. And I feel like...
They killed the guy?
Yeah, like 7 games ago. You mean the present day guy?
You said that they didn't assassinate the guy. Did they kill him?
No, they left him alive, and then he came back and fucked him up later, and then they had to kill him again, or not again. They had to like, have a big giant fight.
They killed him.
They didn't. So this game is like it's a Viking RPG. It's a really cool like Viking battle game. But they've completely revamped the combat system. The health system is entirely different now, and you have to like hunt and fish and forage to regain health, which is something that's never been a part of the series. They've redone the only things that are Assassin's Creed in this game are the fact that they brought back like you have a hood, and when you put on your hood, you can like blend into a crowd.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing in here. Like none of it was stealth. Like when you finish, somebody on Twitter was replying to me and talking about how like get ready for this, stealth assassin game where you literally blow into a Viking horn when you finish a battle. Like how fucking stealthy is that?
So are you less excited about this game now?
Yes.
Oh, that's disappointing.
I don't think it looks bad, but this game isn't like I'm not a big RPG person, and I know a lot of people really love RPGs, and that's kind of the way that a lot of games are going now. So I understand why they went that direction. It's just not an Assassin's Creed game.
What makes it an RPG? RPG and linear are ways of
role playing. you're just role playing a person.
Yeah, I thought you're
Just
still
playing a
like.
role.
I thought in this
Yeah.
game you're still like a defined character that has like a name or whatever. You're not playing Emmaskies in this thing and making decisions. Aren't you pretty much playing through a storyline linearly?
So you play Eivor as either a male or female character, and they talked about it in the presentation that you can switch your gender at will in the game. Like in the middle of the game, you can just decide like I want to be the female version now. And they didn't explain why.
Why would you do that?
They said that it becomes apparent throughout the game. Like eventually there is like you realize what it is. So I don't know what that's all about.
Wait,
but
so
you
that's
play
there
as
intentionally?
Eivor. Yeah, it's there intentionally.
So that
So it's sort
at
of
the
like-
end
like
you can
in
prove it doesn't
Syndicate.
matter if you're a man or a woman. It's what in your
I have
heart
no
the
idea.
whole time. That's what it's gonna be.
So you play Eivor. The gender is optional, and it's branching storylines. It's branching, somebody that dies in your game in the first mission in somebody else's game could be alive and be a useful tool at the end of the game. Somebody, or even when they talked that assassination they went through, they decided to spare that guy's life. They had a choice. You could either spare his life or you could assassinate him. And later on in that playthrough, it came back to bite them in the ass that they left him alive because he fought them again.
okay.
And he showed up at, like, it's a branching storyline. It's the idea that you can romance characters. You have all these side quests. You have all these. It's not a linear story in a way that Assassin's Creed games have been, which is interesting when the entire point of Assassin's Creed is supposed to be that you're playing through somebody else's genetic memories. So it doesn't really make sense that there's 80 different ways that it could go because it's one person's life. But there also doesn't seem to be any single, like, there's no mention of the idea of Templars. There's no Abstergo. There was nothing indicative of a present day mission. So this game is it's if you had just made an RPG called Valhalla, fucking sick. Like, that's what this is.
Yeah.
But I think they probably slapped the Assassin's Creed IP on it because that sells better. They're like, this is a name that's going to sell, and we want another game in this
Assassin's
series
Creed.
anyway.
They owe us another one. Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like a bad game. It just looks like it's not my kind of game, and it's not an Assassin's Creed game. So that's what I don't like about it, is like, I'm losing out on getting an Assassin's Creed game because of this.
Yeah, I feel you on
Are
that.
you,
It's not like
though?
the free for all that you can play.
Are
See,
you?
for me, I'm not a big Assassin's Creed fan, but like Black Flag, I love that
The
game.
game is the
That game
best
was
one in the series.
It was really.
Yeah, that one was
I really
good.
didn't care about the whole Templar thing or anything like that. I was just like really interested in the gameplay.
See, and Black
That's what
Flag
kind of way.
is the one that, in my opinion, did the best job of what they've kind of been trying to do now, where they're balancing, like right now, between Odyssey and Valhalla, they wanted to make games that are set in like a historical time period, and it's not about the assassins. Black Flag was the best about balancing the two, where it was set and it was about the theme. It was about pirates. Like, that was the main theme of the game. But they also balanced it with continuing the Assassin's Creed storyline and continuing with the Pieces of Eden and Abstergo and the Templars. Like that, they meshed together really well. And that was, I think, the game that did that the best.
Emma, you're wrong. First of all, let me just say that, and I'll back that up with another game that I believe did a very similar thing, and it ended up just fine. Halo ODST. What about that? Right? Halo 1, 2, amazing. They came out with ODST. It's not Master Chief. The mechanics are different. It's all stealthy, but it's still like a Halo like engine type of thing. It was like a Halo story, but it wasn't a Halo game. But still, when people put it in the collections, it'll always be remembered. So what if that's
Valhalla
what they're
isn't an
doing?
Assassin's Creed story, so your whole thing falls apart.
You don't know that yet. There could be little things or trickles or an ending sequence that sets the whole thing in motion. It was part of the Creed the whole time. This is how it began. Like, there was no Master Chief in ODST, so it wasn't continuing with like the Halos and the stuff in his story. Didn't make it any less. It just meant it was a
but it
different
was
part
still-
of that universe.
I
It
think
was
Cory's
still
going to
combat.
that.
Go ahead.
Cory's going to that Split movie. Like, you didn't know it was part of a universe until the very end. You saw Bruce Willis
But
sitting
it
at that
wasn't
table.
sold to you as a Glass movie or whatever the fuck.
Just cut into the chase. It's like,
No.
here.
So
Just kidding.
Halo ODST was but it was, you were told when you went in, like, going in, this is not supposed to be the same kind of a thing. We're going for something different specifically because, and Halo didn't have the thing that Assassin's Creed had, whereas Assassin's Creed has different characters in every game, minus the Ezio trilogy. We all had Ezio. It has different characters in every one, but they're all connected by the story that progresses through each individual one, the game mechanics, and the stealth aspect of it, like, or stealth or combat, however you want to say it. This one just doesn't follow any of that. Like, this whole franchise is tied together by an overarching story, and this one doesn't seem to fall into any of them.
That you
I
know
remember
of.
the Halo game mechanics changing in between different games. We had dual wielding, then we didn't have dual wielding, then we had scope on the pistol, then we didn't have scope on the pistol.
But you were still shooting people with guns.
You're still killing people with blunt objects. It's that part stays the same. I think it's going.
Have either of you played the Assassin's Creed franchise?
Nope.
I
Played Black Flag. That was it.
Not
Yeah.
one.
No, so that's a no, and that's a no.
I
So
know
you're
it's
trying to argue
weird.
something you don't even know about.
I mean, all I know is that before I had zero interest in this game, and now I have 100% interest in this game.
And
And
what does
that's-
that tell you about the fact that you've never cared about Assassin's Creed game, and this one that looks nothing like any of the others finally has your attention?
Well-
Because it's different.
I know, but still,
Well, maybe they're just trying something different then.
yeah. Let them try something different,
Well,
Emma.
why don't you-
So
If it
the
doesn't work
whole
out, then they'll
point
go back
of what
to the
I've
old
said
formula.
3 times now is this doesn't look like a bad game. This looks like a good game. It's just not an Assassin's Creed game.
Quit trying to
What I'm saying
gatekeep.
is maybe
You're
I'm
gatekeeping
saying
me,
that
Emma.
the Assassin's Creed is trying something different. The Assassin's Creed is trying something different.
But if there's
like Halo,
nothing
'cause
assassin, if
after-
there's no assassins and there's no Creed, how is this an Assassin's Creed game?
Maybe there
I
are. You just
get where
can't see them
Emma's
because they're
coming
that
from
good.
with this.
I think Emma's
So
trying
now-
to. She's trying to gatekeep the Assassin's Creed franchise from us. Is what she's trying to do. Because now, if I play this game and I'm really into it, Emma's gonna be like, "Oh, well, you're not a real Assassin's Creed fan. You had to play the other ones."
I can't believe I'm arguing with two people who've never bothered to play the fucking franchise before.
I
Why
played
are
it.
you
I'm
doing
trolling.
it?
I
Yeah,
beat,
you
I beat
keep
the
doing
first
it.
one. I beat the first one. I get my credit. The one that had Kristen Bell
No,
in
you
it.
don't. Kristen Bell's not in the first one.
Oh, which one is she in?
She's in the second one.
That's the one I beat. I beat that one.
Oh my God.
I'm a pro.
So having played most of the franchise, I will be the one here to tell you this does not look like the rest of the franchise.
No, so I agree with Emma. Like that, like it isn't free for all. Like what you're used to, like diving and all these stealthy things. Like I get where Emma's coming from, but I also understand like how you're saying, Cory. Like that it might show up somewhere in the game. I don't know. That's why I can't judge it like that yet. But I totally get where Emma's coming from because I did play the other ones.
I hope there is something that shows up in the game, but the fact that we've seen,
I would
like,
freak out
at
if
this
it was.
point, over an hour of content from this game and not one mention of an assassin or of the Creed or of Abstergo. And the only time we saw a hidden blade was in the cinematic, and never since. Like, that does not speak to this being whatever. So it looks like a good game. It looks like a cool RPG. It's just not my speed, and it doesn't look like an Assassin's Creed game.
We will keep our eye on that one. So I think that was pretty much all the best of Ubisoft Forward. Overall, top to bottom, I was entertained. I like their format. I think even better than the PlayStation format. Like, it just felt like it was constantly moving forward. I do think that other shows up to this one lacked like the human element of showing the developers and letting them talk about the stuff. Like the level designer for Watchdogs was super endearing, and she showed like Easter eggs that they put in previous games. Like, that was cool. I just felt like it was a real wholesome stage show, well executed. The hype was there, the surprises. Maybe we got some spoiled for us, but I think it's my favorite stage show of the year so far. Emma, how does it rank compared to what we've seen from our Corona E3?
I mean, it's fine. I don't know what to say. Like, it was the PlayStation one. I think this is this is a format for these things that's working out very well. Having them pre-recorded and not live is working out very well for them. They did have to put out a statement right before it went up, which goes into the fact that this wasn't live, as they were like, this was pre-recorded. It was before we made a whole lot of changes because they just fired a shit ton of people in their creative team. Like they fired executives for claims of sexual harassment and sexual abuse. And like they had to put out a statement. They're like, this is pre-recorded, so it's not addressed. We just want to let you know we're not ignoring it. We just already had this done when all of that happened.
Yeah.
Which is really the only thing you lose out on it not being live. Like, you get rid of all the technical difficulties. You get rid of a lot of the issues that we see with live presentations and them not going well. So this is a format I think that's working out really well for everyone.
Yeah, dig it. I'm really excited about the Xbox One. I think that's going to be next week. Does anybody know the
July
date?
23rd.
July 23rd. That's the one
next
to watch.
Thursday.
I really just hope they crush it. I'm calling that one right now. I want to see
very excited.
Halo gameplay.
Same.
I want to see.
We have to because it's got to come out this week or this month or god damn it, this year.
This year? Yeah.
2020 in a nutshell.
Next story we got here is the rise of the female gamer. It's here, everybody. Don't worry. We waited 2020 long years to get here. And we are in the age of the female gamer. The number of females who play video games in Asia is growing at a rate faster than its male rivals, according to the latest research. The female video gaming community grew by 19% last year, according to data commissioned by Google. Asia is regarded as the global capital for video games, counting of about 48% of the world's total gaming revenue. Asia includes the markets China, Japan, and India, which are some of the biggest in the world. GameSpot also threw in some demographics that were pretty interesting, closer to home. It said 214 million Americans play video games at least 1 hour a week, and 75% of the homes in America have one gamer in their household. It also said that 70% of kids under 18, about 51.1 million people, and 64% of people 18 and older play video games. Sign of the times. What do you think? Are we cool now? Are we hip? What's going on? When's esports going to take off? What's
Hasn't it already? I mean, it's on ESPN. It's on Disney. What are we waiting for?
I don't know.
What counts as it taking off?
I think, Cory, do you mean like, what do you mean? What do you mean esports taking off?
I don't know. I feel like in the esports community specifically, and still largely like gamers still like to try and call ourselves like the outcasts or identify as like, oh, no, we were weirdos, and now it's like the thing. It's the most popular pastime, and now everyone basically quarantined, so we have to play the games.
Cory wants an esports Super Bowl. That's what he wants.
Yeah, that'll be
the halftime show.
It's called League Worlds.
Everything.
Yeah, exactly, Emma. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know what you guys want to say.
That's it right there.
This idea that like video games make somebody a loser kind of went out the window years ago, and the only people still holding on to it are the ones that like require that to be part of their personality or something, or like, when I was a kid, nobody liked games, so and they just need that to be. I don't know. There's people that just want to hold on to that, and they don't like the idea of like, well, when I was a kid, people made fun of me for it, so people should be making fun of you for it. I'm like, nobody thinks that way anymore. Why are we still doing this?
Yeah.
The seeing the rise in female gamers is we've taken many shapes. It feels like it was never. I feel like it really hit the forefront like during Gamergate, and that was such a terrible time period, but it really made awareness, and I think. Afterwards, I think it led to positivity. Like looking back, because that was a lot of years ago now. All right, when was that? Like 2014,
like 2014, something like that.
Yeah, it was a long ass time ago. Now, do you think
it was like 6 years ago, right?
A long ass time. 6 years is a long.
It is a long time.
Yeah,
like, my kid's 6 years old. That is a long time.
Yeah, 6 years ago.
But I don't think things are like drastically improved since then.
You don't?
Not at all. Absolutely not.
You don't think right now we are way further along than we were in 2014?
No.
I think you're
I agree
wrong.
with Emma Tenek. Well, okay, I agree
please,
with.
Let's talk about the fact that the two women in this show are like, no, it's not much better, and the guy goes, yeah, no, I don't think so.
Okay, so I agree with Emma to an extent because, especially with esports, like I want to see some girls up there battling these guys with League, and what do I see? Just guys. Or I want to see some girls up there showing off their skills in Fortnite or whatever. Yeah, there's popular girls who are playing these games, but for some reason, I don't know like where the balance is between any of the esports games. You don't see like that player. Like there's a couple, but it may be two or something that you could actually name and know like, oh, this person played for this much money, this cup or whatever. But do you see any girl
don't want to put themselves through that? It's not a welcoming community for them, and they know it.
And that's
So before I get the
same
emails,
thing with FGC. There's girls that play in FGC. I mean, I played with girls in the FGC, but again, like, are they top players? Like, no, because exactly what Emma's saying. It's just hard to like put yourself out there because then people are like saying things, and it's just goes down a loophole. So
I just want to also say I'm not trying to imply that there's not much more work to be done and that we're not far, but I just think that the landscape now is better than it was in 2014, because I think the fact that we had Gamergate and the arguments being made there have been pushed further along now to where I don't even think that Gamergate situation would even be able to happen now.
Oh, I do.
Really? Because look what's happened in the last couple months of people having, like, everyone being and able to call out people and kind of drain the swamp, like we were talking about last week.
But how many of those people have faced real consequences? It's a very small number.
There's a lot of people, and look at the executives from Ubisoft we were just talking about. Like, the people that had positions of power. I'm not talking about the entertainers. That I feel like that's a little different, because you know the streamers who are getting into hijinks and stuff like that, if they get canceled their stream, they lose sponsors, whatever. But I think most of the stories we've heard that have taken place in industry have resulted in those people getting fired.
I wouldn't say most. I think just about every company has a history of doing things like this, specifically because we've seen women from all over talk about it. And the only reason it's starting to change or it's starting to be noticeable now is because it's more acceptable to talk publicly about it. And maybe it's changing now. Maybe we're seeing the process of it changing right now, but I don't think we're any better than we were 6 years ago because of Gamergate. I think if we're seeing any kind of change, we're seeing it now, and it's only because it's finally becoming acceptable for people to say, hey, this happened however many years ago, and HR specifically told me not to talk about it, told me not to say anything about it, and then when I tried to, they fired me. Like, how many of those have we read? And there was nothing. There was no recourse for the executive until we finally got one big company that just fucking cleaned house. And it's a huge story because they never do that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's also a huge story because, I mean, a lot of, like you said, it was a huge cleanup. I mean, that's a lot of people. That was a huge change for that company to undertake. And I'm not saying that it wasn't as needed. I think it's a big story just because how quickly they acted to just get rid of a whole bunch of people all at once,
Yeah. Well, these people, like, companies are finally getting scared.
Yeah.
Because it's finally going to get to the point where, like, oh, if we don't do anything about this and it gets out, like, it's going to affect our sales. Like
you
that's
said,
what matters.
It's also easier to talk about. So if it's easier to talk about, it'll squash it. Because, I mean, the people that are victimizing these women, you're gonna start realizing I gotta be careful or I can't be doing that because it's gonna get out, because it's so easy. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's easy to talk about. Since it's easier to get out there, there's more incentive not to be acting like a bad person publicly.
What about?
That's what I'm trying to say.
What do you think about, like, representation though? Even today compared to 6 years ago, feels like it was better. Like, we commented on the PlayStation 5. Like, every major title that was coming out seemed to feature strong, independent women characters.
And it was a huge deal for me when I talked about it on the show because, again, we never see that. Never. So, like, it was exciting because it was novel. Because that, like, we were like, are half of these people women? And it's a novel experience even now. Like, 6 years ago didn't change anything to make everything better.
What are you talking about? Like, that's how, like, the the issues of the past are carving what we're seeing now. Like the complaints that there wasn't enough representation back then. It's not like it just sprung up overnight. Like it's been taking time. We're seeing people get outed for, devious acts, and we're seeing more representation in the development teams, which is leading to more representation through the artwork of the video games. Like, I just think it's been a long road. I don't think all the stuff we have is so novel. It's been like worked on over time that we're finally able to soak it in or realize what it is.
I just wouldn't give any of that credit to the idea of Gamergate, because that was such a shit show.
Maybe the premise was off because, Gamergate was bad. Like, it was awful, obviously.
And I wouldn't mark that as the turning point in anything. Like, because people still, and especially on an individual level, women are still constantly shit on in this industry, in this community, whether you're working or enjoying or streaming, or like, women are constantly shit on. So I would not look back at Gamergate in that 2014 time period and be like, this is the turning point when people started to respect women more. At all.
I can see why you wouldn't want to, but I think it brought so much needed attention to it that everyone who was part of the community at that point couldn't avoid it anymore, and you had to pick sides. And not only did you have to pick sides, like you had to believe it, and you had to go in that direction. So I think it brought a lot of harassment stuff to light. And then what that did, when you saw the women getting harassed online, people had to speak up and be like, hey, that's fucking wrong. And then we rally against that type of thing. And then the people who did say like, hey, it's not so bad, and writing articles, then you're like, oh, fuck that guy. And, and those people don't, they're siloed to their own exile of
I feel like we remember
communities.
2014 differently.
Maybe
Because I don't remember it being like a huge thing where suddenly the whole community came up and rose up against harassment against women. I remember it being pretty split on people who thought it was bad and people who thought it was fine and it was needed.
That's
and
how
we
turning point
defended
started.
it with the idea that it all went back to ethics and journalism, which it was never about. But people held on to that because that was the thing that they could hold on to.
It was
and say,
never
it's not
about-
because I'm a misogynist, it's because this.
No, it was never about ethics and journalism. It was
Never about that.
Yeah,
no.
and I wouldn't say it was. And it's possible my perspective is skewed because this podcast has been going on since before that, so we covered it a lot and in depth, and it felt like, we were in those communities talking to those people front lines. We had tons of guests, and that was the top thing we would talk about. And so, we did our part heavily to try and make it more about not fucking abusing people and threatening regardless of the situations. And it had nothing to do with journalism. Like that was a red herring the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's true. It was about how you treat people. I don't know. I think we're in good times. I mean, you have all that stuff, and then you have the dude who's trying to, sue Twitch over, having women on the platform basically, and he couldn't protect himself. Did you see? I know we may have talked about it a little bit on the show.
We talked about this a lot.
Did we get
We had
all
a whole
the details
conversation about this.
Did we get the details of the injury?
I don't think we went into detail because nobody wants to hear. Like nobody wants to talk about this guy's dick. Like this is.
But that's how outlandish it was.
But this is exactly what this guy wants. Like all he wants is people to talk about him and talk about his stupid lawsuit, and he wants to be on all these podcasts and these articles and have all these things written about
Is
him.
he
Like, that's all
really?
he
Is he like a celebrity at this point?
done this like 9 times before, and they all get thrown out of court because they're useless and stupid.
If that's really the aim, that's a waste of money, because can anybody even name this dude?
His last name's Eric Estevias.
Are you reading that off of something?
Estevio?
You really know his name?
Just from this fucking story, because we just talked about it.
I mean, I don't know. It's crazy to just see where we're at.
Stuff like this would go away so much faster if people would just not talk about it. But there's so many articles because it's so sensationalist that you're like, how do you not write about it? How do you not talk about this? How do you not make fun of this guy? But that's all he wants is the attention.
So I say we give it to him. So what he says, I'm just kidding.
Cory, it's all about the clicks.
It's all about the clicks, according to Emmaskies. Put that on a t-shirt. So for those of you who collect your free games each week on the Epic Game Store, they got a good one, a doozy coming up the week of July 16th. It's going to be through the 16th to the 23rd, and it's Torchlight 2. If you're listening to this, it's probably too late. They had a banger of a week with Escapist and like 2 other games. So please go to Epic Game Store once a week and get your free games. There's no reason not to. Also, Epic was doing a nice little sale on Ubisoft games to celebrate their announcement. And I picked up Far Cry 5 for $8. That seemed like a steal. So if you're looking to get caught up on the Far Cry series before the new one comes out next year, do that. Emmaskies, what's your stream schedule looking like?
I will probably be on tomorrow, Thursday, today if you're listening to the audio podcast, Thursday, 4 p.m., playing some more Typo Man that I started today. That game is a fucking gem.
Can you explain? I was watching it and playing Overwatch at the same time, and then I just saw it was like a word scrambler. Can you explain like the premise of the game?
I don't know. It's a puzzle platformer that is based on the premise of words. So like your character yourself is made up of letters, and like everything is made up of letters in this world. And like you'll get to a platform and you'll have all these like words scrambled, and you have to figure out like what am I supposed to do here that makes something happen. And if you move the letters so they spell the word raise, it activates the platform and the platform moves. And that's a very like generic, like the tutorial phase of the game. And the whole thing is built on that premise of finding different words that'll do different things. And then sometimes you'll find words that do things that you didn't expect. So like I spelled out the word sir at one point and it gave me a little top hat. So like just like there's like cute little stuff like that that'll happen. There's like different words that'll do the same thing. So there's a lot of different ways you can get through doing something. It's just the game is very, very clever. It's really it's very nice. I like it a lot.
Typo Man. And
that's cute.
I didn't know if you knew this, Emma, but you were at one time North America's #1 Typo Man streamer in the country. Congratulations, Emmaskies.
I bet.
There you go.
I think you said North America and then said country.
In the North American country zone. She was also the only one, but you know, you take the W's where you can get them. I think you sold me on that one though, because I like it. It actually felt like Limbo, like just watching you play it. It looked like Limbo, but with like a puzzle, like word games in it.
It's very cute. I would recommend it to anybody.
How did you get it? And is it how much?
I've had it forever. It's just been sitting in my library of like games. I think I got it for like $4 at one point because it was on sale. But I have it on Xbox, and I could not tell you how much it is because I don't know.
Lexie, I know you streamed. Every time you stream, everybody DMs me at once. I get like Lexie stream, but then you always stream when I'm doing like I was at a family gathering and I couldn't. I pulled you up on the phone for like 2 seconds and it didn't work. But how did your stream go? Are you gonna stream again?
Yeah, it went well. It was just like I was still trying to get stuff set up. It ended up being better than I thought just because we were trying to get certain screens, I guess. I've never done the screen thing.
Okay.
So, yeah. But I might stream this weekend, maybe Saturday night at some point. I have some friends that are over, so we'll probably visit with them. But Saturday night, XSpaceMentiX is my Twitch, and then Lexie JPR on Twitter. So.
All right, Ego Brain, Jake, our social media guy. People could obviously see your meme collecting skills on Facebook.com/TheVideoGameBang, I believe it is. You keep that page active. You have a little community of heathens that like and comment on all your memes. What else? Are you gonna start streaming again? Didn't you stream at one point?
Oh, I just got a job, so I'm starting to get stable, life-wise. And me and some friends from Discord have been playing Sea of Thieves on Friday night at 6.
Yeah, it's the cutest little thing. Our the VGB diehard fans all get in a little boat together and they sail the 7 seas. You, Pratt, she. Yep. It's just you three. Who
that never-ending search for booty and.
Oh gosh, canceled. Canceled.
I gotta get my setup right, because every time I've streamed before, like people say, "Oh, you're too quiet," or the game's too loud. Or
no, he's not quiet. You're just shy. Just tell him.
I gotta get dialed in. But one of these, I'll probably start streaming soon. But we usually do it Friday.
Cool. I've been streaming a little bit on the channel. I did like a grown-up thing. I sold some stock so that I could increase, so I can invest a little more in the studio. So I'm a real grown up.
Wow.
So I got the stream looking top tier on What's Up Pizzas. It's a clean 1080p now. It's I got my overlays all reworked. I made sure all that the new alerts and animations are dope. So if you guys want to check out my streams, they're very inconsistent, and they're usually pretty salty. You can check it out on twitch.tv/whatsuppizzas. But that's it. That's the show. Thanks everybody for listening. For Emmaskies, Minty, Ego Brain, my name is Cory saying you've just been banged.